I want you to raise it. 1, 2, 3. Raise your son!
Millennials and Gen Zers are now all over Instagram and TikTok, racking up views by pushing anti-abortion messaging through a much younger lens.
Saying that a woman won't be as successful if she has a child is actually pretty misogynistic and degrading.
You want a culture that minds their own business when innocent human beings are being killed? Honestly, that sounds like something slave owners would have said so proudly.
In the last several years, they've framed that messaging with leftist language, feminism, science, human rights.
It is the sexual revolution and the abortion movements, both largely driven by men, that have waged the real war on women.
Women, we weren't made to want to kill, to destroy. We were made to fiercely fight, to protect. That is authentic feminism, a feminism that demands true equality under the law for all people, born and preborn.
Lila Rose became a national figure after she filmed undercover at several abortion clinics and posted the videos online. They went viral.
I want to terminate this pregnancy because of the gender.
Like I said, because don't tell us that. We don't want to know.
After Planned Parenthood threatened legal action, accusing Rose of deceptively editing footage, which she denies, Rose sought the help of ADF, and ADF saw an opportunity. They backed her legally and gave her media training. And a pro-life star was born.
Why do you do this?
Well, it's my passion. It's a group of students and we do this work together to investigate Planned Parenthood and hold them accountable for these crimes. The science is conclusive here. Biology is clear here. Human life begins in the womb. It's possible to make our country and our world pro-life.
Rose has become a sort of messenger-in-chief for the anti-abortion rights movement through her media company, Live Action.
The right to abortion is not a real right. My bodily autonomy doesn't give me license to kill, period. We have to change the way we look at this entirely and get that message to everyone. I'm Lila Rose. I've been a pro-life activist for 15 years.
The pro-life movement is today's authentic women's movement. The popular narrative has been that abortion is somehow going to empower women when we know that it's an act of violence against our children.
Live Action is a nonprofit dedicated to educating the masses on the truth of abortion. We want it rejected culturally and legally. We're reaching millions of people on a monthly basis through social media, through Live Action News. But the goal is, how do we get these stories in front of every single person? People that claim to be feminists and people that claim to be pro-women, but are out there advocating for abortion, they're still stuck in this very antiquated view that abortion equals women's empowerment. We're publishing content every day to millions of people, content that exposes what abortion is.
It's rough. Do you think now, watching this and from what you just said, do you still support abortions up to birth? No.
Today, we learned Justice Anthony Kennedy is retiring from the court. President Trump, right there in the middle, will now get the chance to shape this court for at least a generation.
This is a pivotal moment. If we have another Supreme Court justice appointed who recognizes that Roe v. Wade is bad law, it could change everything. We urge Congress, the administration, and HHS to continue to take action on behalf of our most vulnerable.
I appreciate being here, standing here with surrounded by so many pro-life supporters that have done so much work for so long, not only here in this Congress, but across this country. And I'm one of the big fans of Lila Rose and the research that she's done.
I think we're going to see an end to legalized and culturally accepted abortion in my lifetime. And I'm excited to be alive and to be part of it.
Pro-life supporters generally believe that human life begins at conception and should be protected from that moment. They argue against abortion and believe that every individual, even in the earliest stages of development, deserves legal protection.
Hello and welcome once again to one more episode of Speak Your Mind. Tonight we are speaking about abortion, pro-life or pro-choice. It's a life bigger than the choice that the mother, that the one that is carrying the baby, or should the choice be bigger than the life? Well, it's up to you to tell us your opinion about it, okay? From now on, our lines are open at 877-785-8700. You can call us right now. We are live here on the studio, and you can give your opinion. Are you pro-life? Do you agree that the life that the woman is carrying more important than her choice to make an abortion? What do you think? Share your mind with us. Together with me, like always, Pastor Giovanni and Miss Audrey, they are in the studio with us. Good evening.
Good evening, Pastor. And I wanted to invite everyone that is watching us now to go ahead and scan the QR code as it appears on their screen, to not forget the Telegram poll that we have, for them to go ahead and vote, because we have the following question. Do you think that we should take abortion more seriously, or is this something that doesn't matter? Let us know what you think, and we'll be announcing the results during our program.
Pastor Giovanni.
And this person, Pastor, who is watching us right now and wants to give us a call, our lines are open and completely free. 877-785-8700 is the number to call. Or if you feel a little bit more comfortable sending us a message through WhatsApp, you can do so also, 437-233-9815.
And they can too post in our social media, am I right?
Yes, exactly, Pastor.
What are the social medias, Pastor Giovanni?
We have a Speak Your Mind. It's spelled like you guys see right there on Pastor's right side. On Facebook, you're going to be able to find this easily. And on YouTube, the same exact thing, Speak Your Mind, CA. You guys can definitely join in, whether it be YouTube, whether it be Facebook, our Instagram as well, Pastor. We're practically everywhere on social media.
So make sure that you get in touch with us and let's share your mind, okay? Speak Your Mind. It's the name of the show. 877-785-8700. We already have our first caller. Before we go to our next segment, we put the pro-life segment. In a few, we are going to put a pro-choice. Let us see in a few minutes. Before, let me speak to Adriana. Adriana, she's on the line. Adriana, good evening.
Good evening, Pastor.
How are you doing?
Fine.
On this subject, what is your opinion about it? Are you pro-life or pro-choice?
I'm pro-life, pretty much, because, abortion is something that it should really be, it shouldn't be taken lightly. There's people that they say, oh, it's just nothing, it's nothing. No, it is something very important, because even, for example, that the woman herself, that she chose abortion, she's going to suffer consequences, because there's physical consequences and there's also psychological consequences. So this is just a subject that cannot be taken lightly. And in my opinion, is like, everybody, they have the right to be born into this world. So I'm pro-life.
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you think it's pro-life no matter what? Or do you think there are certain situations that it should be pro-choice? Let me give you a scenario. Let us say a woman gets raped, and from that rape, she gets pregnant. Do you think that baby should come to life, although it's the result of something that she's going to remember for the rest of your life? What is your opinion about this?
Well, that's a very difficult question. Actually, in many people in this situation, they say, oh, it's the choice of the women because she didn't choose to get pregnant and everything. But there are other options that, yes, of course, because of what happened, she's going to be remembering for the whole life. But it doesn't mean that she had to keep the child, because a woman that went through a such traumatizing situation, of course, like 90% of the time when she's going to look at the child, she's going to be remembering what's happening, but it doesn't mean that she has to keep the child. So that's another option.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, it's better to just give the child in adoption that rather to, go in this choice of abortion, because she already suffered something really traumatizing. And then she's going to do something that is going to also have consequences for her.
So
in my opinion, there's a better choice.
So no matter what, you are pro-life.
Yes.
God bless you, Adriana. Thank you for your participation here on Speak Your Mind.
Thank you. Good night, Pastor.
Bye-bye. As Adriana said, Pastor Giovanni, it's a very tough choice. Actually, in a few, we are going to pray for all those who maybe they're going through this and they have this decision to make since. I believe, Pastor Giovanni, if I'm not wrong, abortion, it's very legal here in Canada. Am I right?
Yes, in the provinces here throughout Canada, it is legal. Although, Pastor Israel, we will say that it is not accessible to all. We have a comment here from Crystal, who sent us a message here from, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Nova Scotia. She says like this: I changed my mind because I got pregnant. To be crystal clear, this was a wanted pregnancy, a planned pregnancy. My husband and I were absolutely thrilled, and we were in the middle of stocking our nursery when we got the news that the heartbeat had stopped. There was no reason for it, but we tried 5 times before we finally conceived a viable pregnancy. And then it says like this: the recovery process was not just physically, but also mentally, because I was so tired. But every child brought into this world deserves to be wanted and loved. Pastor Israel.
Well, in this, we could ask the question: maybe somebody who got raped doesn't want a child, and how is this mother going to treat the child?
Correct.
Ms. Audrey, you have more comments for us. More people speaking their minds.
Yes, Pastor, we have here Jerry that says, I believe it depends on the situation and it should be the woman's choice. So I would say I am pro-choice, just like kind of what we mentioned here today. It depends on the circumstances, situations, as he appears to agree with. And we have Renee that says like this: my friend was forced to have an abortion by her mom and dad when she was just 16, and still to this day she is heartbroken about it. I believe that if it was her choice, she would not have gone through with this abortion. So here we're going to have many comments that we're going to share throughout our program. Again, don't forget to send a message 437-233-9815 or contact us on our Facebook or YouTube page, and we'll be reading your comments here on our show.
You can call us too at 877-785-8700. Before we go to the next segment, we have one more caller in the line. Pastor Giovanni, we have Karina in the line. She wants to speak her mind.
Yes, let's see if we can connect her now. Miss Karina, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Good evening, Miss Karina. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Miss Karina, we're asking everybody the following question about abortion, being pro-life, pro-choice. It's that question that appears on the screen. Is abortion cowardly and immoral? Do you think it's something that we should emphasize on? Do you think it's something that is not too important?
Well, I feel like it's something important for us women. It's always a choice at the end of the day. It's always going to be a choice, but it's always a way of deciding depending on the situation that's going on. I do know like there's some women out there that end up doing abortion automatically. Like they don't even think twice. Like it's their final decision. And, it's respectful, but at the same time, it's like, it's not, I guess you could say it's not the baby's fault when it comes to that. And I feel like it all depends on the woman and their body, because it's at the end of the day, it's their body. They know what they can do in the future.
Now, Ms. Karina, now you say that, there are a lot of people who would like to argue the opposite, where a life at the end of the day is a life, and whatever child, doesn't matter the circumstance, doesn't matter the situation or how it came to be, the pregnancy, we should still give an opportunity for that child, for that fetus, for that baby to come into this world. Is that a statement that maybe you can kind of agree with, that you can even think about? to kind of change your mind?
Yeah, I can agree to that. I feel like there's always an opportunity for the baby. But then there's also that side where you have to think, like, not just for yourself, but also for the baby, because you have to think about their future. Are you economically okay for it? Like, are you gonna have that moral support for the baby?
And Ms. Karina, just last question with you now. When it comes to the things that you see, the protests, people getting upset with the abortion laws, is that something that you see yourself, if you've ever been in a situation, would you be somebody who decides, for example, whether it be through rape, whether it be unplanned pregnancy, something that you decide to remove automatically, or is it something that you would give thought in?
What do you mean? Like, if I would agree to it?
Yes.
I say it would be kind of hard emotionally, it would be kind of hard for the person that's going through it, because it's due to like rape or some kind of situation that's traumatizing. I feel like it would be emotionally something effective on the long run.
Ms. Karina, thank you so much for speaking your mind with us tonight. Thank you so much for sharing. Have a good night, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Pastor, we're reminding this person that they can continue calling us. Our lines are open, 877-785-8700, or through WhatsApp, they can send us a message, 437-233-9815.
Just remember that at the end of the show, we are going to make a prayer for all the women. It doesn't matter if you are pro-choice, pro-life, we are going to be here praying for you, okay? 877-785-8700. You can call us right now and give your opinion. Before we go to our next callers, let us watch this next segment that says it's pro-choice. Let us watch.
Abortion bans are not pro-life. They're pro-poverty and pro-inequality. I'll tell you what we can do about it in a moment, but first let me explain how these bans worsen inequalities. You've probably heard of the 2 abortion cases making their way through the courts, but it's not just Texas and Mississippi's new bans. For years, Republican state lawmakers, almost entirely white men, have been chipping away at reproductive freedom, enacting laws that lead to clinic closures, force people to travel hundreds of miles for abortions, and create near insurmountable barriers for low-income people, especially people of color. Now, make no mistake, bans like those in Texas and Mississippi won't stop abortions. Wealthier people will always have access, but millions of low-income people will be forced to give birth, with dire consequences for both parent and child. Pregnant people in Texas now have to travel an average of 247 miles to get an abortion. Who but wealthier people can afford this? Only 1/3 of the lowest paid workers receive paid sick days, while 95% of the highest paid do. Taking just one unpaid day off from a low-wage job can mean sacrificing groceries, electricity, or gas. These restrictions worsen inequality and have lifelong effects. One study found that being forced to carry an unwanted pregnancy to term makes it nearly 4 times more likely that parent and child will live below the poverty line. Parents are also less likely to have full-time work and more likely to have public assistance 4 years later. Decades of research confirm that abortion access improves education, employment, and earnings. And the differences are especially large for Black people. It's not just economics. Restricting abortion puts people's health at risk. Researchers found that abortion legalization in the 1970s reduced deaths among Black mothers by 30 to 40%. The Supreme Court's right-wing majority is poised to gut or even overturn Roe v. Wade. If they do, 21 states already have laws that will go into effect to severely restrict or outright ban all abortions immediately, threatening the livelihoods and health of millions of low-income Americans. Congress must codify Roe v. Wade into federal law now by passing the Women's Health Protection Act. It's already been passed in the House, but it's being blocked in the Senate by, you guessed it, a Republican filibuster. Let's be clear, there is nothing pro-life about forced pregnancy. and forced birth. The freedom to choose when, how, and with whom you start a family should not be dictated by your income or where you live. Congress must act to protect reproductive freedom now, before it's too late.
Oh, hey, sweetie, how can I help you?
I read there are babies that totally need homes, so I'd love to adopt one.
That's adorable, but impossible. You're cute. How old are you, 11?
12 and a half.
Excuse me.
If science says I'm old enough to have a baby, hello, period in PE class, I should be able to adopt one, am I right?
No, you're wrong. You've got to provide food, shelter, mental, dental. Do you have proof of income?
Oh, does tooth fairy money count?
Oh.
Well, if I can't take a baby home, what about surrogacy? Wouldn't I look fly pregnant?
Oh my God, no, put that down. Pregnant teens are at high risk for preeclampsia, toxemia, emotional trauma.
Ugh, you're killing my vibe.
Don't be sassing me. Oh God, not again. We do not adopt children.
I was just wondering if you knew where the abortion clinic is.
Oh, I'm so sorry, but the state closed all of them.
Thanks.
Pro-choice supporters believe in women's right to make decisions about our own body, particularly when it comes to reproductive choices. They support the legal and ethical right for individuals to have access to safe and legal abortion services. Pro-choice supporters emphasize a woman's autonomy, privacy, and the importance of allowing her to choose whether to continue or terminate a pregnancy based on her own circumstances, health, and personal beliefs. Their stance is grounded in the belief that the government should not interfere with these deeply personal decisions.
That's a question for some thought. We wouldn't allow a 12 years old to adopt a child, but we would allow it to have a child? Well, speak your mind. This is the name of the show. Okay? You can call us at 877-785-8700. We have Crystal on the line. Ms. Audrey is going to speak to Crystal.
Hello, Crystal. Good evening.
Hi, Ms. Audrey.
How are you today, Crystal?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. So the question that we have here on our program today, as you I believe are watching, pro-choice versus pro-life. What is your opinion on this matter?
I'm definitely pro-life.
Okay. Do you have a specific reason as to why? Can you share a little bit with us?
Well, because I feel like once a woman is pregnant, whatever choice you should have made, I think that stage is long gone. You could have made the choice to be celibate. You could have made the choice to use protection. You could have made the choice not to do any of those things, not to get engaged intimately if you already know what the end result is going to be like. So I feel like once another life is involved, it's not just you anymore. So the thing about making the decision should have been before you got pregnant. So I'm definitely pro-life for that reason.
Okay. And the question that we've actually been asking previous callers was in regards to in the occasion of, let's say, a rape, as a woman was sexually abused or something in this matter. What do you say about that? Should she be forced to have this child, even though it was unwanted or an unwanted pregnancy?
Well, okay. First and foremost, I think like someone had said earlier on, I would say such a person should be encouraged to have the child and probably give up the child for adoption if she feels like the child is going to give her constant reminder of that trauma. Because rape already is a crime. Now, if you go ahead and then you commit abortion, it's like you're worsening the society. You're not making anything better because now, first of all, it was a crime, and now you are doing, I would say, almost like another crime or something even criminal, because that's also murder, so, right? I would just say encourage the person. Of course, it's not going to be easy, but encourage her to have the child and see if she wants to give up the child for adoption.
Crystal, sorry to cut you off. Sorry, Ms. Audrey, to cut you off. For example, you just said that the mother should give the baby for adoption. Don't you think that's another trauma that the mother would carry? The fact that she rejected her own child?
Sorry, Pastor, say that again. I didn't get you.
You just said to us that the best option would be to have the baby and to give it out to adoption. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that that is another trauma for the mother? Because now she's rejecting a life. Not only she gave a life, but she's now rejecting the life. Don't you think it's something to add on already to the bad experiences of life? What do you think?
Well, I think that giving up the child is a better option than killing the child, right? It's almost like you're between the devil and the deep blue sea, but then you sort of take like the lesser evil. So it seems like the lesser evil would be giving up the child for adoption rather than killing the child. I know it's not easy and it's going to take a lot of psychological tension on the mother, but it sort of outweighs, giving up the child for adoption sort of outweighs killing the child, in my opinion.
Okay. Thank you very much for speaking your mind.
Thank you, Pastor.
Have a good night. Well, there you have it, Ms. Audrey. Most people have been pro-life.
Yes, Pastor.
I thought people would be more pro-choice, especially because Canada, it's legalized, but it's a surprise. Ms. Audrey.
Exactly, Pastor. I actually have someone that says like this in regards to, his name's Larry, and he says like this: I think women, when they're told no, they will go against anything no matter what. Many feminists protest for the sake of just fighting against something. So there we have it. And we also have Betty that says like this: I personally had an abortion right after taking this decision. It was not taken lightly. However, I was in my teenage years and I was judged and criticized by my family. However, when it came down to it, it was my choice. And I have understood over the years that maybe I have come to regret this decision. Because of the circumstances, I had a lot of fears, fearing that I wouldn't have the ability nor the financial ability to be able to provide for my child. And this is why I came to make this decision. However, now that I have matured over the years, now with my husband, I have a 3-year-old daughter, and now I am happy that I am a mother. So if I was to advise someone against abortion, I would say don't do it. So there we have it, Pastor.
Pastor Giovanni, do you have more comments before we go to our street interviews?
Yes, Pastor. I have here Marlos Arantes, who sent us a message from Winnipeg. They go like this: I believe that abortion should be allowed in 2 situations only. 1, in case of a sexual assault, or in case it has been proven through proper exams that the fetus will have a physical disability. Because this world is too racist and to bring a life to suffer discrimination, it wouldn't be a good idea from my point of view. Reminding everybody, Pastor, this person can keep calling us 877-785-8700 or through WhatsApp 437-233-9815.
Before we go to the street interviews, we have Sandra on the line. Let me speak to her. Sandra, good evening.
Good evening, Pastor.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
And Sandra, what is your opinion on abortion? Do you think we should be pro-choice or pro-life?
Pro-life.
Do you have children? If you don't mind me asking.
Do I have children? Yes, I do.
So you are pro-life all the way, no matter the circumstances, no matter what happens? Like, for example, Pastor Giovanni just read the what is the name of the person?
Marlos from Winnipeg.
Marlos said that we should consider if the person was sexually abused or if there was a way to know that the children will not be born with full health. Do you agree with him or you totally disagree with him?
I disagree.
And why is that, if you don't mind me asking?
Because number one, nobody knows the outcome of any pregnancy. And secondly, there are many times the doctors have given you the results and it has been proven negative. So I think even if a person is raped, it's hard, it's very hard, but there are so many people without children. That child can be given to someone who needs a child. Unless this person, it is life-threatening for the parent, for that person, then no, I don't think one should have an abortion, and I don't think it should be allowed.
So if you brought something up that we had not considered. If the mother it's risking her life to have a baby, between the mother and the child that is not yet born, you would choose the mother, or what is your opinion on that?
I would let the child be born. Who are we? I don't agree with abortion of any reason.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sandra, for speaking your mind with us.
You're welcome.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
One more pro-life speaking with us. Let us go to the streets of Toronto and let us see what people here in Canada are speaking about this.
Hello everybody, here we are in Yorkdale, and here we are asking for opinions on whether pro-choice or pro-life. Do you believe that women consider the mental and physical health of a woman that's going through the situation of abortion, or do you think so?
I believe that they have to consider mental health as well as their physical well-being. I really do. And I do believe that the health system should support people in that way. They should, they should give them some mental health support as well as, but I do believe in abortion if people desperately need to do it.
We're very much focused on, how we define women. And because we're so focused on a more of a patriarchal definition of how we define women, it's more like, okay, you're not really thinking about what the woman's going through. You're just thinking about what the duties of a woman are. And so I think we really need to look more at times are changing. The way women define themselves, not just how other people define them, we have to look more at that. And also as we're trying to find our place in the world, that, there are a lot of other factors that we have to consider. And it's not just talking about religion and culture and all that. It's also like the woman herself as a person.
I think the healthcare system should particularly pay attention to this from the very beginning, from the moment that young women turn into their age. Like I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, it starts from the age of 12, 13. And women should not be shamed about talking about it to each other, to the healthcare professional, to their moms, to their grandma, whatever. But it's very important. It's really very crucial questions, I think, should be paid attention so that to protect the woman's health.
And how do you think we can help people more with that situation? And how can we provide that help?
Oh, that's a difficult question to answer. I mean, really, it comes down to self-education, one, to rethinking our own biases. What do we define as appropriate, not appropriate? Because a lot of times that's what you're going to hear is that, that's not the right thing to do, or this is the right thing to do.
Maybe if we have support, more support, economic support with doctors and that things, maybe she take a good decision, like take the baby, no? But when she's too young, feel alone or something, the easy decision is don't take the baby, not? I'm Christian. I really have a lot of work for take my baby, but when I take my baby, I never in my life think about don't take it. I'm super happy for my baby and she's still here. I just need to tell to every woman in that situation, it's a complicated situation, but a lot of women, a lot of couples don't have kids and they want kids. Then a kid is a present of God for me.
Health system has to put more money into everybody's mental health, not just women who are seeking abortion, but they should be putting more time and energy into thinking about the general population and their health and mental health.
So they should be like a massive awareness raising programs at schools or in the community centers so that women will be aware, young women at the early age, be aware that this is bad. So they have to protect themselves. They should be like, they have to have a, ability to go to the intimate light, but they have to be aware that they have to protect themselves. So they have to be high awareness. So that's the preventative measures, and it's must.
And there you have it. Feel free to join us next time.
Eight 775-8700. It's the number for you to call us and speak your mind. Share your thoughts on the opinion. Are you pro-life or pro-choice when it comes to abortion? Okay, Pastor Giovanni, I believe we have Marlo on the line. He wants to speak his mind.
Yes, let's see if we can connect them now. Mr. Marlowe, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear everyone. Good evening.
Mr. Marlowe, we're asking everybody the following about abortion, if they're pro-life and pro-choice. If I'm not mistaken, I think I got your comment on Facebook, but we would love for you to elaborate a little bit more about your opinion on this.
Okay, so I am pro-choice because the reasons that I have written there, I don't believe that it's fair enough to the mom and to the child or to the fetus to come to life under circumstances of like a sexual assault, for example. Because imagine, as the pastor said, it's going to be a double trauma at least. A child will grow up with in mind, oh, I was rejected by mom, like one of the ladies said, oh, can put it for adoption. So I am a son of a raper, and then I was rejected by my mom, and how this child mind is going to be in the future.
So, Mr.
It's
Marlowe,
gonna be a problem over a problem.
So it's not even so much that you're focusing more on the mom, but the future of that fetus that would come into the world later on, having to deal with all of those, all of that backlash. My dad was rapist. My mom didn't want me, and that would be too much. If what I'm connecting all the dots, correct?
Exactly this one. And on top of this, in case of physical disability proven by the proper health exams, so why you bring to the road someone that's going to be suffering discrimination? Because we know that it happens, kinds of racism or whatever. I believe that from my point of view, it's too much suffering for a person. So I am a father. I know I never would wish to, as people are saying, kill a child. I never would support it. But interrupting a pregnancy in the earliest stage, I believe that would be, under these two circumstances, you would have like a reasonable ground for making an intelligent choice to prevent this future child to suffer this road, and even the mom in case of sexual assault.
Mr. Marlowe, spoken like a true father. Thank you so much for giving us your input. Have a good night, okay?
Okay, have a good night. Good night as well. Thank you.
Take care. Pastor Israel, we have here also more comments coming in. Paul from Kensington Market, he goes like this: Canada's abortion laws were declared unconstitutional, which basically kicked out the decision where it belongs between a woman and her doctor. Although various conservatives have threatened to bring in laws that would intrude on that relationship, so far they've all backed down because it's a very unpopular idea.
Ms. Audrey, you have more comments for us?
We have Samantha from Facebook that says like this: I would prefer adoption. If the mother can't bear the child, then she should keep it. And we also have Peter that says like this: there's an ancient book that says to wait until marriage to have sex. With most abortions occurring outside of marriage, maybe the author of the book was right. We have many people here that are sharing their opinions in regards to this topic, pro-choice or pro-life, but I also want to remind everyone to go ahead and scan the QR code and join our poll that we have going on, and they can go ahead and choose what is their decision, whether they think abortion is very serious matter or it's not serious because it doesn't affect anyone. So let us know what you think. Scan the QR code and join our poll.
We have a segment that speaks about 39% of Americans, they don't want to pick a side. They are neither pro-choice, neither pro-life. Let us watch.
Would you characterize yourself as pro-life, pro-choice, both, or neither?
Both?
Can you explain that?
I wouldn't, but I can't choose for other people. That's kind of what we are as America, is letting, people have their freedom.
I'm Christian, so I'm what do you call it? Pro-life. It's a life you're taking. Like it's really considered murder because the baby has a fetal heartbeat. The baby's alive, so I think when the baby gets a heartbeat, that should be the cutoff point. That's just my stance. I'm not the kind of guy like I want everyone to follow my stance. All these laws that are like making it more difficult for women to get abortion, I think that's crazy.
They should have all legal rights to have an abortion. It's our own rights. It's freedom.
That's a human being's body, so I think they have the right to have control over their body.
I think in situations where where it can be proved where the woman had control of the situation, they should not be allowed to abort the baby because they were part of that conscious decision. I would consider myself pro-life.
I think that by making it illegal, it makes it more dangerous for women in the world. I identify as pro-choice.
I was brought up Catholic. If you're a Christian, then you would let people do what they want to do. You would be able to understand it. I mean, I would say pro-choice.
If I had to pick, I would say that I'm pro-choice, but personally, I'm more on a somewhere in the middle.
I don't want to discuss something like that.
I don't want to go there.
Probably pro-life. This life that you're taking out of the world could probably be something better or famous or bigger than you could ever even imagine. This is probably the next president. But if you don't allow them to get an abortion, best believe they're going to find a way to abort it themselves. Like, I've seen it. It should be illegal, but it's a 50-50 on that. It really is. Like, there's some good points, there's pros and cons.
Well, there you have it. Before we come to an end of the show and make a prayer for all those who are watching us, I have Divya on the line. Divya, good evening.
Hi, Pastor.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you for asking. And what is your mind on this? Are you pro-choice or pro-life? Do you think the choice should matter more than the fetus, or the life it's bigger than any choice somebody should have?
I think abortion is very serious because, as much as we don't think about it, like there are people like in the world, women especially in the world that get raped and go through situations like this. And I think that they shouldn't have to live with the consequences that had nothing that they were helpless in. And not even women, but in some countries, there's little children, little girls that are also getting raped, where they're helpless, they can't, there's nothing that they can do. So I think that they shouldn't have to live with the consequence where, they were helpless.
Do you think a person who wants an abortion will get an abortion anyway, even if it's not allowed?
Sorry?
Do you think a person who it's going through a pregnancy and the person, the woman wants an abortion, do you think she will go through the abortion whether it's legal or illegal anyway, or do you think there is a way to stop it?
I think like the reasoning kind of behind it matters too. Like if if a woman was going through pregnancy and wanted it because like if they were raped, for an example, yes, they should. But I feel like I know in some cases like fathers of babies like they want to keep it and the mom doesn't. So in that one it kind of like differs a little bit.
Well, what is your mind on this? I will share my mind in a minute or so. But what is your mind? Are you more pro-choice or are you more pro-life?
I think they should be allowed to, though. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for speaking your mind with us, Divya.
No worries, Pastor. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Well, there you have it. My opinion on this, my mind on this is that every life is sacred. According to the Bible, every life is sacred. But I do believe too, a mother who wants an abortion, she has already rejected that fetus or child, or however you want to call it. And I think the mother who wants an abortion for whatever reasons should talk to someone, should go to a doctor, should go through a process and see if really that child is going to be born and maybe be rejected, become somebody who, of course, we do believe that God is powerful and he can change anybody. But what about the salvation of that child that is going to be brought into our world, rejected by the mother, rejected by the parents, whoever they are? It's something that you should not take lightly. So I am one of the 39% that it's in the middle, half and a half, because I am too pro-life. I believe that every soul matters. Every life matters. Okay? We are going to go to the testimony of Heather. She suffered with depression, but through the power of faith, she was able to change her life around. After that, Pastor Giovanni is going to say a special prayer to all those who are watching us. Let us watch.
My name is Heather Hagwood. I'm from Columbia, South Carolina. I'm 33 years old. I'm a nurse at the hospital. I had a lot of things going on in my life, and my husband, he was very depressed. He never talked about it. Everything was okay. We always went fishing together, cookouts together. Everything was happy. And he had passed away, and things had changed my life ever since then. He hung himself. And when that happened, it made me get depressed after the suicide and everything, and me losing everything. It had me get into a depression. I was out shopping and I came home and he was just laying there, and it broke my heart, and I couldn't really do nothing but just yell and scream and just try to bring him back and do what I could, embracing him with so much love at the time. My life changed after that. So I decided not to keep the house anymore because the house brought memories of him. That's why I didn't want to be there anymore, because it hurted me so much living without him. And it caused me to go into a depression. It caused me to not want to work and not want to have anything, and just be without, just shut myself out for the world. Like I didn't want to be involved with nobody. So I wasn't at home anymore. I just isolate myself in the world, like stay in my car, or I'll go get a hotel room and just be to myself. And sometimes I'll go to the park and I'll sit in my car and cry from the depression that I was going through, and I wasn't eating properly. I was watching the TV broadcast from the hotel room that night, and it stuck with me and it stayed with me, and everything that they was talking about, it touched my life. And that's when I opened up my heart and I just set aside, everything that was going on in my life as far as with the depression. When I first came to the church, I seen my results right away. I seen the faith moving within me. I seen my life change. And I started to walk another walk, talk another way. I started to be better than what I was. People around me noticed a person, a different me. They noticed something different about me, and they said I look better. Today I have overcome depression. I'm able to sleep better at night. I don't toss and turn. I'm able to have a good night rest to prepare myself for work the next day. Everything that I lost, from me sleeping in my car to me being able to get my home again, like everything that the devil took from me, God gave it back to me within 5 months, within 6 months. I thought it was going to be years before I was able to get back on my feet again. The Holy Spirit is peace for me, is peace, is guidance, is strength, and it's endurance inside of my heart. And no matter what happens in my life, I know that the Spirit will always be inside of me to keep me going and keep me pushing. I was hurt, I was in pain, and I lost someone that was very close to me. And I don't want anybody else's families to have to go through anything like that. You can always come to Universal, where I attend, and just put away all your fears and just let the Lord take control of everything.
Prepare a glass of water or get closer to your television screen. At this moment, we will have a special prayer to your name.
My God, in Jesus' name, I pray right now for those who watch us in this moment and have even been affected, as we had mentioned, whether it was rape, sexual abuse, things, my Lord, that it's not their fault. Things that happened that was out of their control. And now, my Lord, they suffer with trauma. They suffer, my Lord, with scars that haven't been erased. But I pray, because your word, it says that you heal the brokenhearted. You bandage all the wounds. My God, that this person who now is depressed, now, my Lord, has anxiety, has even thought about suicide, that in Jesus' name you deliver them, you set them free. You set them free, my God, from all evil, everything that has been torturing them, everything that has been holding them back, that in Jesus' name all the evil that has risen against this person is removed. And my Lord, that when they drink of this water, that inside of them is strength, is your Spirit. That is how I determine them blessed. In Jesus' name, and if you believe, say amen. Amen. Let us drink of this water now with faith in Jesus' name. Amen. God bless all of you who watch us now in this moment and who have been looking for a way out. I usually tell people who have so many problems and have even told us, hey, I've done everything to stop suffering. You knock on every door, or you've maybe even knocked on almost every door, because in the moment that you decide to step in here, you're going to be able to see how the power of God can work in your life. We're located here in Toronto, 2420 Dufferin Street. We're right there on the corner of Bowie Avenue, and we're about a block and a half from Eglinton Ave. You can take the 29 bus or the 929 bus, and you're going to end up right in front of our temple. You have the opportunity for free, completely free, Sunday at 10 o'clock in the morning to see the power of God in your life. Thank you for allowing us inside of your home. God bless all of you. See you soon.
Sunday of the 7 prayers. In the gathering of faith and miracles, bringing restoration to health, prayer for your deliverance, to your love life, to your family, your financial life, for inner peace, and a real and true encounter with God. There are 7 prayers that will impact your life and destroy all your troubles, bringing new life in every way. Sunday of the Gathering of Faith and Miracles. Sunday at 10 a.m. 2420 Different Street, 1 block north of Eglinton Avenue, and at every Universal Church in Canada.
Lift up my eyes to the hills. From where does my help come? My help comes from my Lord, who made heaven and earth. He won't let my foot be moved. He who keeps me is the Lord, the one who keeps Israel. Will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is my keeper, He's the shade on my right hand. He keeps my soul, He protects me from all evil. He keeps my going out.